Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Diana and I'm just a girl and I wanted to talk about girl things such as self-concept and how I'm relating to my self-concept and just life, and hopefully you guys relate, or I'll be doing my makeup because I thought it would keep it interesting. So I'm gonna do my best to multitask. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. I'm very nervous, by the way. Like, this is my first official video, and I'm like, it's about time we let ourselves be seen, okay? Because at this point, nothing else feels like it aligns. Nothing else feels aligned with who I am and with the life that I want. I just have to do what I feel like I have to do. Even when I don't feel ready, even when I feel like I'm the biggest imposter, you know, you know how it goes. But that's the whole thing that we're here to talk about. And in no way am I perfect or feel like I have all the answers, but I have the answers for where I am right now and what I need to do and what alignment looks like for me. And hopefully, maybe you relate. And yeah, so my name is Vanda. I'm not sure if I already said that. I'm 26 years old, and for the past year, I've been experiencing just changes internally, based on like the things that I want to do. I don't even think that you guys can see what I'm doing just because of the lighting here. Well, hopefully this just keeps your attention engaged. Oh, hell no, that was not giving goddess. Whatever. But self-concept, let's just get into it. Okay, I'm using Fit Me. This is all drugstore, girl. Like, all my makeup is all drugstore. Eventually, it will be, I'll get the name brands, but it works for me. Okay, my makeup stays on fleek. As long as you have a good base, it works. And please don't, I use whatever brushes I want. I'm not even sure if this is a foundation brush, but I just like how it just does what it does, okay? I'm not a makeup guru. But yeah, self-concept. Okay, let's get into it. So for the past year, I've had visions of the type of girl that I want to be and the type of lifestyle that I want to have. First of all, I want to have my own apartment. I would love to move into a new apartment this year. I don't even know how that would happen, but I want a new apartment. I want a modern, nice apartment this year, okay? I want the silver fridge, silver oven. I want all of that for myself, and I know I can have it. I want the high-rise apartment. I want the cute furnished home with everything that I like, not just, And I'm very grateful for my living situation right now. I mean, I'm very comfortable, but I want more. I want more, and it's not bad to know that you want more. Okay? I'm learning so much about being a woman and what that means, being a woman, on a metaphysical sense, in a spiritual sense. What does it mean to be the goddess incarnated? like I'm made in the image of the goddess. I'm made in the image of the divine feminine. I have a womb. I'm literally exactly made in the image of the creator. Like everything about me, down to my skin, baby. This is melanin. This is dark matter. Okay, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, I'm made in the image of the goddess, and like growing up, I wouldn't say that I was raised to have confidence at all. Like, not even in my looks. Um, it just wasn't there. I wasn't raised to be confident in myself. Instead, I think I was raised to have even more insecurities about myself, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, I don't hold anything against anyone just because I feel like everyone has experienced life, and I don't know, sometimes you just go through life unconsciously, and I feel like sometimes the grown-ups in your life sometimes go through life unconsciously, and at this point I'm too grown to keep holding on to things that I feel like I had or didn't have. Like, I know who I am, and I'm very compassionate with myself. Well, I try to be. I do my best to be very compassionate with myself and like my experiences and all of that. But you know, life is life, and it's either you get on with it or you get behind, girl. Okay? And so I'm gonna use my other brush. Yeah, I do my makeup how I want. You guys can literally leave me alone in the comments or whatever. I do my makeup how I want. So anyways, yes. I wasn't raised to really have confidence in myself as a girl. Like, I was mostly raised to just pick myself apart, kind of. Like, well, that's how I ended up just relating to myself. Like, having things to pick myself apart of. Like, it's either I'm not perfect enough, it's either I'm not small enough, it's either whatever, you know. And it is what it is. But now it is my job to integrate those things and know that as I am, I'm enough, and I'm here to have this human experience as this woman, who's very beautiful, by the way. Okay. And just, you know that I am more than enough. Okay. I'm more than enough. Okay. But yeah, so I'm not going to shy away from the things that I believe and how I believe, because I know that a lot of us grow up from different cultural backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and a lot of how I see myself now is not going to rub people that are still under the dogmatic thought forms and belief systems. Like, I'm not that girl. I am not that girl. I'm not that girl, and I'm not gonna dance around it, and yeah. So, knowing that I am the creator living as who I am, I believe that there has to be a time where we need to accept ourselves fully for who we are. For who we are, and realize that divinity still exists no matter how you think of yourself. No matter how you think of yourself. And emphasis on the think, because regardless of how you think of yourself, divinity remains constant, right? Divinity remains constant. Actually, I was watching lady Miss Pavola, and one of her videos that she had posted, she was basically talking about she was drinking her orange juice, and she basically said, even when I'm going to paraphrase this, but even when I don't feel like the baddest of the baddest, is this peppermint tea still tasting like peppermint? Yes. When I don't feel like enough, when I drink this tea, is this still going to taste like peppermint? Yeah. Mm-mm. Cut that whole scene out. But yeah, so I actually wanted to talk about and like, regardless of how you feel like you were raised, you are completely supported to have the life that you want. Completely supported to have the life that you want. Like, your self-concept is more about you coming into terms that as you are, you deserve everything unconditionally. And that the conditions that we think are there only stem from our minds, something that we created ourselves, but it's not the truth of who we are. Your self-concept needs to be able to support who you are right now in this moment. Like, if you're someone who's experiencing loops of shame and guilt, you need to know that you still deserve your best life. It's when you say that because I'm experiencing this, I don't deserve the absolute best, is when you do cut yourself off. Because you need to be the vessel. But if you as a vessel have a faucet, have a limit to how much you deserve because of your state of being, then that's you placing the conditions. And that's you oh my god, there's something in my eye. So the goal of self-concept is to have a self-concept where it's not about really changing who you are. Changing will naturally happen as you learn to be okay with who you have been and where you are right now. Because if you're not okay with where you are right now, and your thoughts are something is wrong, something is bad, like even if you genuinely feel like you are misaligned, if your self-concept says because of this state, nothing good can come in. And I feel like this has been important for me to speak on, just because I'm aware of the law of attraction community, or like, that was how New Age was kind of introduced to me, through law of attraction manifestation, right? But it misses a whole lot of points, and it keeps things very surface level, and it keeps things in a way that you can actually go crazy, because you're thinking that if you don't have 100% good thoughts all the time, if you're not at your highest frequency all the time, which I actually like, your highest frequency is not you feeling happy all the time. If it's at the expense of your nervous system, at the expense of you not accepting yourself, if it's at the expense of you running away from what's really going within, then that's not really high frequency, and actually you're relating to yourself through shame, because you're telling yourself that if I don't feel good all the time, then I don't deserve certain things. Certain things won't happen in my life. And that's just a very skewed way to perceive reality and your existence. Because how do you just be? How do you be after that? You know, joy doesn't come from having happy thoughts all the time. Joy comes from just being okay with who you are right in the moment. And so even with self-concept, like working on just how you perceive yourself, because that's what self-concept really is. It's working on how you perceive yourself. If I know that even on my worst days, even in the worst phases, or when I'm going through situations that are just contrasting what I actually want for myself, meaning what's going on is reflecting the opposite of what I desire, then it's in that moment where I need to come back into myself and work on, it's not working on the shame, but it's working how I perceive myself while I'm experiencing what looks like shame, right? Because you're multidimensional. You exist in all planes. You exist in the lower planes and you exist in the higher planes, the unconscious and the conscious. And it's through us diving into the unconscious where we can bring the conscious, where we can bring light. And you don't bring light by disregarding the darkness or parts of yourself that are scattered. It's by bringing them together, because that's really what it is. When you're unconscious, you're scattered. You're under thought forms that are just, I don't know how to really explain it, but you're under certain just thought forms, right, that are taking you away from who you really are. And this is not bad. It just means that these are things to be integrated, because at the end of the day, there's only one force, right? And we call it God, we call it source, we call it life, and life encapsulates all of these different aspects. So if you want to work on yourself, if you want to see good things happen in your life, you might not like what's going on, and you're not put in a corner to like what's going on in your life, but you must have a different perception of yourself so that what is going on in your life will naturally shift. For example, talking about myself, like, as I said, this year I would love to have my own beautiful apartment, and this is something that I've always wanted for the past year now. I've been saying to myself, I'm going to get myself an apartment, and it's going to be under my name. It's going to be under, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. And I've been going through things like emotionally, mentally, so much. It's interesting because when you want more for yourself, you're going to realize that you actually have a lot of things that come up for you that is like, you must go through it. You must go through these parts of yourself in order to experience the other side of that. So I've been experiencing, certain thoughts. I actually went to a tarot card reader, and it wasn't my first time, because I was just really interested in that kind of stuff. Like, yes, I was raised Christian. Yes, I know it's considered witchcraft, but guess what? I'm not your ordinary Christian either. I'm not your ordinary Christian. And matter of fact, I'm not even a Christian. Do I believe in Jesus? Heck yes. I see Jesus as my brother, as my friend, as someone who is guiding me back to my Christ consciousness. My Christ consciousness being my consciousness, my divinity. And it has nothing to do with, and that has nothing to do with anything else other than me unconditionally knowing that I am one with God. I'm one with the Creator. Whether that's the Abrahamic God, I don't know. But I just know that there's a God that extends beyond everything. I already know I'm gonna have some people in my comments talking about there is no other God. There is no other God. I didn't say there wasn't any other God. There's only one God. I agree with you. There's only one God. But anyways, that's what your self-concept is about. I really want to document my experience because I don't want to come on here like I know everything at all, but these are my insights so far in my life. Because when you tell yourself that, like, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that because I'm not in this state, like, I feel like that's what the law of attraction community kind of taught us, is that if you don't feel a certain way, then you're not going to attract certain things, and that's not the case at all. It runs deeper than that. It's how do you see yourself? And that doesn't mean discount the bad days or make yourself turn yourself into a robot that doesn't feel anything but pleasure. You know what I mean? Because if I can tell myself that I deserve everything, even when I feel like absolute whatever, then think about it, guys. That's you fully being in your unconditional power. You know what I mean? Like, if I can see myself fully, I've now become conscious of what I was deeming to be unconscious. Okay? And because of that, I transcend even the meaning of whatever that unconscious feeling could be, because now I love myself even when I'm experiencing it. I love myself and I know that I deserve everything. And when I know that there's nothing in life that can happen to me, or there's nothing that I could ever feel that will hold me back from experiencing the love of reality, the love and the abundance of everything. That's where you're supposed to get to. So regardless of how you're feeling, how the 3D reality is looking, which will in turn create certain feelings in you. Emotions aren't your enemies. It's just information. It's guiding you to where you need to put your conscious light back into your, you know what I mean? Like, I hope what I'm saying is making sense, because you need to accept yourself fully, no matter where you are, because that's where your power is. When you can accept yourself fully. I am imperfect. I have bad days. I have days where I doom scroll. I have days where I just want to bed rot. But I notice that those moments, when I go into my head, because I like meditation. Guys, you need to meditate because it really helps you to find moments throughout your days where you just come back to who you are. Where you're like, oh, I'm awareness. What's going on? I've been in this loop for a good minute. You know, how am I feeling? What am I thinking of myself right now that is stopping? Because a lot of the times when you're doom scrolling, you're bed rotting, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I feel like shit. I keep scrolling. I keep, doing this. I keep doing that. I need to get up. I need to shower. And then when that's not happening, because you're unconsciously you have 32 tabs open right now while you're bed rotting, while you're doom scrolling, okay? And in that moment, it's not even about what you're doing. It's about how you see yourself about what you're doing. Because as soon as you shift yourself, as soon as you're able to say, okay, how would my higher self feel about herself right now if she was having a day like this? If she found herself, staying in bed all day and whatnot, how would she feel about herself? Because right now, it's not about, my higher self wouldn't do this, my higher self wouldn't do that, my higher self wouldn't feel shame or get angry and feel like, oh, as soon as she feels all these things, everything comes crumbling down. That's unstable. And the creator doesn't create systems that are unstable. Okay, so you need to realize that you being who you are it doesn't have an effect on your life until you shift the way that you see yourself while you're experiencing those things. That is true self-concept. It's really not complicated. It's really not. So how, like the other day, I was doing just that. I was in my bed and I was just feeling like, oh, why is life not working out for me? I can't even get up and do the stuff that I told myself I would do and have the platform I said I was going to have. And, you know, I've been sleeping even on my own self-concept the past year because I just became so overwhelmed with what was coming up. And just the thought of, like, sitting down with myself, I was like, no, I can't do it, girl. And my nervous system cannot take it. You know, it's crazy. Like, the things that we know that we had to do, we just won't do them if we're in certain states, certain identities. So then I took that time. This is really annoying me. So I took that time while I was in bed. I was like, you know what? It's not about what I'm doing. It's about how I see myself about what I'm doing. So then I told myself, what would my higher self that's having a day like this feel about herself? Or how would she see herself? Not about how she feels, but how would she see herself? Because seeing yourself is where you are one with your awareness, okay? You need to be able to observe your human nature, and observing, seeing, and being able to have a new perspective that transcends what you're feeling is where you become one with the gift of your awareness, to be able to separate yourself. This is why 7 minutes, taking 7 minutes a day, at least 3 times a day, maybe 2 times a day, and if you can handle 1, that's fine. But I know I was about to get you on the shame loop. But, you know, you have a lot of time, okay? And you like to scroll on your phone. I know you like to scroll on your phone. I think you can just take, 2 7-minute breaks in your day to just meditate. I can do it too, because I tell myself that exact thing. Like, I have time to scroll. I think I have time to just... But, I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not trying to shame nobody. But just give it a try. Think about it, okay? But it really helps because when you meditate, you get to see yourself as the one that transcends thought and emotions. And that is a point where you want to be in your life. When your 3D is showing you all types of bomba, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to stand in your awareness. Your awareness is where your I am is. And so, no matter what you're experiencing, you need to know that these are not rulers of your life. It doesn't rule your life. Shame, these emotions, I always bring up shame because it's one of the lowest frequencies. So if you can... So, if we're speaking from that point, it covers all other points that exist onwards. But if you can know that shame is not ruling your life, it doesn't have the ability to take anything away from your life if you say it has no ability to take anything away from your life. And instead... you see shame as an information field. Your emotions being an information field because your emotions are electromagnetic. It comes with information. It's literally communicating information with the quantum field. But if you're not able to give yourself self-acceptance while you're experiencing this, and you are identifying with shame, well, this shame keeps looping. It keeps looping. But if I can say, I am awareness, I love myself regardless of what I'm experiencing, then that becomes you being the God, okay? Because that is the goal, is to become the God of these things, which means being the God means to transcend the shitty feelings, okay? And know that it not bypass, transcend, not bypass. Never bypass, okay? And the difference between bypassing and transcending would be, bypassing would be being like, I can't feel shame. I gotta feel good all the time. And I feel good. Let me just keep acting like I feel good all the time. And you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna go crazy because you're forcing. Being the creator is not about forcing. Okay? It's about allowing. Transcendence is allowance. Transcendence is I can be in the dirt of the dirt and be like, you know what? Maybe a flower will bloom from where I am. You just integrated. You just said that maybe a flower, light, will bloom in the dirt, shadow, because they can come together. The flower needs the dirt. But if I was to say, oh, I'm in the dirt and nothing is going to grow out here, then you're just going to keep being in dirt. You're not going to have the soil that will grow a flower. If you understand that or not, it's just an analogy. It's not science. It's just analogy. Don't come at me about, well, actually, no, this is an analogy. Okay? I'm not trying to come off as a preacher, but this is very much for myself too. Okay? So, self-concept. I have some things that I wrote down about self-concept. And honestly, I'm working on my self-concept because I'm going to show you guys how much I can change my life. I really believe that I'm going to be unrecognizable this year. You don't have to have my belief system at all. But this is just like what I've come to understand that helps me in my own life. But at the end of the day, we're talking about self-concept, right? We're talking about self-concept, and no matter what you believe, the foundation of what you believe is your self-concept, okay? And so, I just stopped doing my makeup for real. Okay, so I just used my other concealer. Now I'm using my lighter concealer. I need to buy more makeup, I know. The corners. And like today, for example, I was just feeling so misaligned, okay? Because I'm just like, yo, my money. Where's my money? Where's my money? Okay? Like, I had, starting from last year actually, I was like, oh, my life is going to be so different by this year. And in different ways, yeah, my life is different. But I do have goals. And I'm not the type of person that wants to tell myself that, oh, it's okay. It's okay to just have just enough. I want more. And I want to feel like it's my right to want more. And that the only part of me that would be afraid to admit that is something that is in my self-concept that I'm unconscious of. And what I'm saying is, like, for example, this year I'm like, I want to experience this, I want to experience that. And the part of me will say, well, if it doesn't happen, it's because of, you know, it just wasn't meant to be right now. But a part of me also feels like that doesn't sound divine to me. Like, if I want something, I can have it. And then there's a part of me that says, that's not how it works, girl. Like, you're sounding very much out of touch. I have to know what that voice is. Because what do you mean I'm out of touch? What do you mean I'm out of touch? I know who I am. I know what I can have. I know what I see others having. I know what I see others having easily. Yes, I don't know their life experience, but why am I going to keep accepting the bare minimum? Guys, okay, literally, this is my self-concept and I don't care. It's either you are with it or not. But my self-concept is that I'm a princess. I'm a spoiled princess. That's a self-concept that I I want to incorporate more in my life because, well, what got me here is seeing that I've been living in survival mode for the longest. It's like the only state that I seem to know. It's like the only state that I seem to know. Like, genuinely. Ever since I've finished college, I've just known survival. I've only known like instability or being overworked, overextending. I'm 26 now and I'm just like, yo, this is not for me. This is not for me at all. And it's like, who do I need to be to no longer have to accept a life of survival? A life of having to hustle my way through having the bare necessities, because that's literally what it's been, right? And coming and having all this information that I feel like I have now about myself, my divinity, my spirituality, my metaphysics. These are not just fun facts so that I can apply them into my life. Okay? And as a goddess, when I think about goddess energy, when she wants something, she's gonna get it. When she wants something, when she wants it, she's gonna get it. I am within. I mean, I don't want to censor myself, but I truly, like, if I am made in the image, and I know that that really just means that I am that, and just knowing that, like, as a girl, like, there's a high regards to being a woman, first of all. Men, let me tell you something. Men, when they want something, they know that they can get it. Okay? Their ego is so inflated that they know that they can get it. And I feel like as a woman, we need more of that. It doesn't make sense to me, honestly, when I see women begging the universe for things, because it's like, my lady, we are the image of the universe. We have the womb. You are literally the creator. To tell yourself that you can create something because of a block is going against unconditional love. It's going against the whole law of unconditional love, or just unconditional power. Why are you putting conditions? Oh, I probably want to experience this year because of this, because of that, and placing all these conditions. But really, it's just so that you don't disappoint yourself. So that when you get to that point where you have expected yourself to have it, you're just like, oh, well, you know, I knew that I wasn't going to get it. It just wasn't going to be. I feel like as girls, I grew up a very soft girl. Like, as in very sensitive, people-pleasing. I still am. And that's the thing. I really want you guys to join my journey to becoming the woman that I want to be, that I see myself as, and just haven't allowed myself to be because of my self-concept. And I want you guys to see, like, my journey. And so that you can see yourself in me also, because I believe in this. I believe in this. And a lot of your life is based around your self-concept. How you see yourself. Because how you see yourself stems from your awareness. Awareness is where life even stems from. It's awareness itself. It's how you create. It's how you even have the power to create what you want. But if you're always seeing yourself less than, just because things aren't going right in your life, then you're putting conditions over yourself as a creator. Okay? You're putting conditions over yourself as a creator. That, oh, I can't have this just yet. Or, well, things look like this. Or maybe it's because I'm like this. Or I'm not ready enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not pretty enough yet. You know, I need to obtain these things first and then the rest will come. Why are you putting conditions? God has no conditions. Like, to be God is to have no conditions. To be God is to be unconditional. The reason why it's like those states, like, you must be able to transcend the conditions. God the meaning of God is not limitation. If God feels like, sometimes it's the name itself. I just use God because I feel like it's the universal. Everyone will get what I'm talking about. But truly, I feel like source, infinite potential, infinite power, infinite source with no limits is the real, is the terms that you can use in your daily life. And knowing that scripture even says that you are made in the image is like icing on the cake. Because then it's really like, why am I putting limits over myself? Sometimes, even as I'm speaking, I can hear my ego just being like, you do have limits. Maybe God does have limits. Look at all these laws of physics and whatnot. Because right now I'm thinking as just a 3D being, but I know that I transcend the 3D and I'm living within it. And how cool is that? And to know that it doesn't take away from who I am. And that at the source of the 3D, what predates the 3D is the unlimited, infinite power of the I am, which I am. I have the gift of being that. It is a gift, not because it wasn't mine to begin with, but because, wow, existence is amazing. That is the mind of a creator who loves to create. The creator is in its elements when it creates. It's not like, oh, I'm not perfect enough, or I'm not. It's perfect. It's why everything exists. And to know that you are that, like, your self-concept needs to support your humanness. It needs to support your humanness. It needs to support you on your good days, on your worst days, because that is truly unlimited potential. So I could be experiencing whatever day. I could be experiencing whatever, but I am the absolute best. I'm the best to ever do it. And, sometimes I can hear my ego being like, you're the last person to be talking about this. Look at yourself. Sometimes you do have to, like, whatever negative Nancy voice that you have in your head, say it out loud. And mock her back in the best way possible. Like, mock her back and be like, girl, I am the best. I am unlimited. That is known. And then don't argue back with her. Let her be. But just know that you stated your truth and you're going to stick with that. Because that's literally how you deal even with people in your life. You don't go back and forth with the loser. You speak. You speak and you say your truth, and that's it. You don't go back and forth with the loser. Why are you going to go where the loser is, right? And you need to remind yourself that. Like, when people are trying me, people are trying to instill their limited beliefs onto me or make me feel like I'm less than. Like, I have certain people in my life that are kind of like that. Like, I can tell that they want me to feel a certain way about myself because they don't feel good about themselves either. Sometimes you gotta realize that sometimes your ego wants to act like that. It's just your unconscious making itself known through, like, your thoughts that kind of sound like you. And you think it's you. But you need to remind yourself that you transcend your ego. You transcend these thoughts. It doesn't even matter what kind of thoughts you have, because you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. So when you have a thought that you don't like, don't get startled. Don't be like, oh my God, why do I still think like this? My manifestation, no. You transcend it. That's where your power is when you transcend the negative thoughts. Like, if you're going to keep feeling, like your thoughts are the gods of your reality, you're going to lose. Your thoughts are not the god of your reality. Your awareness is the god of your reality, and you are it. So you get to choose what you give attention to. You don't have to see your ego as an enemy, but you can see it as actually a partner that helps you realize where you need to pay more attention to. Like, if I'm having a thought that says, oh, you're an imposter, why do you think you're ready to have this platform? You haven't even done half the things you said that you would do. Then I have to look at that thought and be like, and who are you? That's the best I can do right now. Like, okay, who are you? Who are you? Like, and who are you? And just move on. Like, be like, who are you? Okay. And I have my platform, and I'm building my platform now, and I'm speaking now, and act like existence is your birthright. Act like success is your birthright. Act like it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even matter what you think. Because if you keep living your life thinking that you need to get to a point to deserve certain things in your life, you're just gonna... It's always going to be battling with life. You don't need to battle with life. There's nothing to battle. There's entitlements. There is knowing that something is yours. It's mine. I don't have to argue with myself. Like, if success is mine, I'm not going to sit here and argue about my success, about having success. I'm not going to argue with reality and be like, I'm supposed to be successful. I'm supposed to be successful. Bring me success. Like, I'm going to expect it, and I'm going to walk like it's mine. I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to have days where I feel less than perfect. And if my awareness, though, if I can learn to come back to my awareness during those days and know that, oh, I feel less than perfect, but I know the truth is that I am perfect. I feel, there's just so many, as long as you're integrating both truths, you can hold both truths. I can feel ashamed, I can feel shameful, and I can also feel radical self-acceptance of that. I can hold both truths. I've just transcended. I'm whole in that moment. I'm not scattered, I'm whole. I can hold all truth. I can hold my multidimensional self. Because my multidimensional self, without one or the other, I don't have anything. I'm scattered. I'm imbalanced. I need to be able to hold it. Holding your wholeness is ma'at. Okay, it's balance. It's, you know what I mean? So that's what your self-concept is supposed to be. It's not about just infiltrating your mind or trying or attempting to infiltrate your mind with positive thoughts. The positive thoughts is you acknowledging the negative thought and knowing that the negative thoughts or the negative state is where you can build from. Not that it's not about suppressing, it's building from it, holding its truth. Holding its truth and knowing that you are so loved that it does not take away from anything. It does not take away from the goodness of your life. That, a good visualization that I feel like has helped me whenever I felt like I was losing parts of myself. I'm not even done my makeup, y'all. I know, a bit undone. But I would take moments to... Please don't judge my makeup. I know. You know what? I'm going to have a whole new set of makeup. Okay? I'm going to, so much of my life is going to change. It's going to change. And I'm okay with that. I don't know why I feel like I have to over-explain that, but I'm just saying, I'm going to have everything that I desire, okay? And part of me just talking about this is that I feel like there are young girls or just people out there that feel the same way about, where they're at in life. And I'm not perfect at all. I don't have it all figured out, but I can speak right now, and hopefully I can inspire other people to just have that platform right now. Speak what you feel like you have to say right now. And, and do it like it's your birthright, because it is. But there are times where I visualize my younger self, and I see her fears and I see her shame, her guilt, and I hold my younger self. I hold her and I just embrace her and I feel her emotions. And I feel these shadow aspects that are crying, and I just say, you know what? We deserve the absolute best. We will have the absolute best. Because sometimes it's really the thoughts that get you down. And it's like, it's those moments where you can extend love and compassion, because your subconscious mind, or those thoughts that you feel like are so negative, they're only prominent because you have a pattern of allowing them to be prominent. Like, you have something within yourself that you hold dearly that allows those thoughts to be prominent. So just taking the time to just love on your younger self, speak to your younger self like you would speak to a child, that compassion, and letting her know that it's okay. Like, we are more than enough to have the things that we want, because that's really who you're talking to when you're diving into self-concept. You're speaking to your younger self. You're communicating with your younger self. You're finding ways to hold an open space for your younger self to be her, and to help her with whatever she's still holding on to, because it's in your body, right? And so I just visualize and I see those shadow aspects, and I just say, let's all hold hands. I hold hands with my fear, and we do a whole little circle or whatever, or I'm walking through a garden of roses and my fear and my guilt and my shame are hand in hand with me, and I'm like, we can go anywhere. That's the bigger picture. I'm not fighting with my shadow, being like, you gotta change, you gotta, in the name of Jesus, in the name of, you know what I mean? No, we can do this together. Because that fear, that shame is so valuable. I wouldn't even think to be like, you know what, I can have the life that I want if it wasn't for the fear, if it wasn't for the shame, I wasn't so exhausted from feeling powerless. Those things fuel me. And when I can see them as allies, as friends, and when I can see my child self, my subconscious, as a friend, rather than something that I gotta beat new beliefs in, but something to be compassionate with, to be loving with, to realize that it's so powerful, and my child self is so powerful, and she still exists in me, and she deserves all the beautiful things in life, you know? And I also want to say that it's not about getting your subconscious right, then you can build wealth. It's self-concept, and being able to be whole is being able to know that you deserve things, and holding that wholeness for your child self, for you, for your higher self to exist in. You know, that's the Holy Trinity right there. That's your inner Trinity. And being able to hold the truths and knowing that you can have the life that you want. In no time, you're going to see your child self being like, oh my God, hey girl, hey, we really did that. Like, your child self is going to be so happy to see you win. So don't disappoint her by, kind of think about it this way. Think of your self-concept and these thoughts, or your subconscious, as your child self. And you want these big changes in your life. But imagine looking at your subconscious and your child self, be like, this is your fault, this is why we don't have this is why we, like, and just berating your child self like that. Of course it's gonna get worse. She's not going to think, it's gonna be like a loop of shame. If you guys understand what I'm saying, I'm just trying to get like a certain analogy. Guys, don't laugh at my makeup skills, y'all. My makeup always comes out really pretty, regardless of the process. Because I'm that girl. I'm that girl. But, be very kind with your child self. Be very kind with her. Be very gentle with her. Let her know that it's okay. And even those thoughts, be gentle. Like, it's okay. We can still do this, because you realize that thoughts, they're all in certain frequency. And if you sit with them, you will know what frequencies are at play. So, it, for me, it helps with visualization. When I see fear, I see like this shadow being that is actually so loving, but just needs to know that it is loved and it's supported and that it's not holding us back. And if you can imagine your thoughts not as enemies, but as things that want to be transmuted so that they can also live their heaven on earth, but they're existing in you. And until you are able to see them, because they are you, they're extensions of you in the multiverse. They're extensions of you. Because if you identify with fear and you're in a fear loop without, confronting that fear with love, compassion, and trust, courage, then that fear is, if it rules you, it brings you into its dimension. So you, under the fear state that you haven't confronted with, and it's, I'm not telling you that you have to think about it this way, but that's just how my brain categorizes it, so it makes sense to me. But whatever makes sense to you, but just know that they're not your enemies. They're extensions of you, and you know that you want love in your life. So know that they want love in their life too. They don't want to ruin your life, but if you don't know how to confront them with compassion and love, encourage radical love, like radical self-acceptance, then they're gonna just, you know what I mean? It's like kids. You gotta be a parent in a kid. You gotta be a parent in a kid's life. How's it gonna raise some hooligans, right? It's the same thing. So hold a lot of compassion for yourself and your inner child, and just accept yourself fully. Accept yourself fully. If you guys, well, I have like an example here. Oh Lord. We can get into self-concept in the next video that I'll make. But I think I've said what I needed to say now. I'm just gonna go on and finish my makeup. But truly, like, you can have the life of your dreams. It can most definitely be yours, and it is yours. You just need to know that it's yours. And stop putting limitations on yourself. If you're having a bad day, accept that you're having a bad day. If you're not having a good time right now, accept that you're not having a good time. But always give yourself a higher meaning, a higher knowing. Remind yourself of the higher knowing that this does not take away from the blessings of your life. Because if you believe, oh my gosh, guys. Because if you believe that your states have the power to take things away, because that's the whole idea. It's what you think of yourself, what you think about your own state and your life and all of that. It really just comes down to you and how you see yourself, regardless of what you think is going on in your reality. And when you do, you're going to find out that you actually have no limits. Okay? Whatever shame you are experiencing, it's information to guide you into learning to love yourself more, even when you're experiencing shame. Like, love yourself even in this state. Every emotion is holy, okay? You will find God in every single emotion. You will find God even in fear. You'll find God in shame. You'll find God in guilt, because the God in every emotion is the very thing that will set you free from those emotions. And God being that unconditional love, that unconditional acceptance of your very being. It is within every state. You can find it, and that's when you know that you are absolutely, absolutely limitless. Alright. So, in my life, I'm going to experience exactly what I want, okay? I'm going to have all the things that I need. I'm going to have all the things that I desire in this year. I don't want anything less. I'm going to have it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'll have that apartment. I'll have that, I'll have it. And you can have it too. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. I'm going to finish up my makeup, but how do you guys like it? It's not done. I still have like mascara and all of that to put on and another layer of blush. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.